Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm sharing a collection of true stories sent in by people just like you and me, ordinary people who lived through extraordinary and sometimes terrifying moments. These are their words, their experiences, and their truths. I hope you find them as fascinating as I did. Let's get into it. Scary encounter. I don't remember exactly when this was or how old I was, but I'm 16 now. When I was much younger, my family and I were living with my cousin's family until we got our own house. I remember at some point my mom told me that they would be coming to stay over because they had plumbing issues. Me and my second older cousin were in my room around midnight. At that time, my room was right across from the kitchen, so you could see and hear mostly everything from there. We had my door wide open and the ceiling light on, and we were watching videos on my tablet. Then we heard noise coming from the kitchen. The noise wasn't anything unusual, but it sounded like someone was upset and slamming the drawers. Me and my cousin went quiet and went to check it out. We saw no one, so we assumed it was someone who had woken up and gone back to their room. But when we checked on everyone, they were all sound asleep. The only one who was awake was my older cousin. We asked if she had gone to the kitchen, and she said she had only gone to the bathroom, which was right in front of the bedroom she was staying in. A few months ago, I was at my cousin's house and we were all talking. I brought up what had happened that night, and my cousin who had been in my room with me doesn't remember a thing. Neither does my cousin who was staying in the other room. To this day, I hate being home alone because I always feel like someone is watching me. Pretty sure I just went on a date with a dangerous person. Update. I want to thank everyone who reached out to me and confirmed that I was in a very dangerous situation. I have since told this individual the kindest way possible that I cannot overlook his cruelty to animals and have since removed him from all of my socials. I have also told some close friends in case something else comes up. Thank you all again. We met on an online friendship and dating app. I know it's a cliché, but I genuinely was not looking for any kind of romantic connection. But alas, I have hormones and big dreams, and I fell hard for a mysterious stranger. We talked for over a month about philosophy and life and spirituality. I felt a genuine connection with this person, and I was extremely excited to meet up with them. One of my stipulations in my profile is I am not interested in someone with a large online presence. This was used as an excuse as to why this person did not have many photos, as they said they used to have a larger presence and it was getting to their head, so they deleted their socials. I never said I was smart. I ignored this. They were vague about their employment but insisted they worked in the medical field. The photos that I received were of a tall, dark, and handsome man. I really thought I had hit the jackpot. Fast forward through a couple weeks of planning and multiple excuses, we finally meet up. This man does not look like his pictures. He does not drive the same car in his pictures. He is not the same height. He is not the same build. I think, great, I have been deceived. But I am naive and too nice for my own good, so I give this man a chance. After all, we had an amazing connection. Then the truths start coming out. They don't actually work in the medical field. They don't actually have a stable income. Then, the scary truths come out. This man proceeds to offer up unprompted, vague details about how he used to harm every single animal he could get his hands on as a child. This did not exclude neighborhood pets. He said he did not know that life was precious as he was not taught, and grew up in a very difficult and traumatic environment. He said this so casually, even laughing when talking about how he hurt a neighbor's pet. Now I am frightened. They say that they had a change of heart. And now they are here to heal others, that they want to fix all the harm that they have done. Maybe that is true, but I cannot stop thinking that the hand that held mine also harmed countless living creatures. And now I'm in a tricky position, as I do not want to upset him, but I am frightened and do not wish to continue communication. Any advice? I should have chosen my best friend over her. A year ago, going on 2 years, I had a friend who I'll call Lily, and we were great friends who had both liked each other at different times but never got together. We ran track, had classes, and sat at the same lunch tables, and every partner assignment we'd always try to work with each other. I really liked this girl and she clearly liked me too, as I found out via friends later on. But I was just stupid to not get with her because I was talking to another girl who I'll call Jane. I was introduced to Jane by her cousin, who I'm good friends with, and I got her snap and she got mine, and there were clear signs that I shouldn't have gotten with Jane, like how she was a constant overthinker. She wanted to know where I was at almost all the time and who I was with, and that she also wanted access to my Snap account. Later on, foolishly, I asked Jane to be my girlfriend, and it was great at first just hanging out and talking and everything, but right around the 5-month mark she became more possessive and wanted me to stop talking to my friends, one of them being Lily. Lily and I had been friends since the 7th grade and were practically inseparable, so I would tell her these things, and I now know that you shouldn't talk to other people about your relationships, but I just wanted her to give me some advice. But I would also tell Jane that I was going to sleep early just to call Lily, which was pretty messed up to do in the relationship. But I guess I thought my life was like a movie and that Lily would somehow rescue me from my relationship with Jane and we'd date and live happily ever after. And of course that's foolish, but I just didn't really know how to get out of the relationship I was in without hurting Jane. I was too afraid to hurt her feelings because she had been hurt before by other guys and I didn't want to do that to her. Of course, she eventually found out and understandably became more controlling in our relationship. So I had to remove her on Snapchat, but I still kept her number and would call her from time to time. As I mentioned earlier, I ran track with Lily and we got closer and closer there, and all my friends said that we would be great together. I thought I could date Jane and keep Lily as a close friend. And I know everyone reading this thinks I'm a jerk, which I really am in this story. Jane would also call other boys and call them handsome and cute, and even made plans to hang out with her exes. Which, by the way, is worse than what I was doing with Lily. We'd just chat and talk about school. I thought I could date Jane while keeping Lily as a friend, and it almost worked. Every time me and Jane got into an argument, we'd almost break up, and then she'd say something about how we could make it, and I believed it because I still really liked Jane for some reason, even though she was being unfaithful more than I was. Doing track made me realize that I should have gotten with Lily, and I regretted not doing it earlier. Fast forward to the end of the school year. It's about to be summer. I'm with my group and hanging out with Lily. We take pictures and we hug before we leave for the summer, and we all go home. During the summer, me and Lily called and talked about what we were going to do and everything. She would hang out with her friends and I would with mine and Jane. That summer, my feelings for Jane decreased as the arguments became more repetitive and the silent treatment became longer, and my feelings for Lily only grew. As all things go, people move on and Lily found a boyfriend. Of course, I was happy for her, but I was also jealous because I had feelings for her. A couple months go by and I'm at the fair with Jane and her family, and all of a sudden her ex comes by, and what I'm about to tell you is really twisted. Not only is this her ex-boyfriend, it's the one she was always calling handsome. She runs up to this guy and hugs him. I'm right there with you and your family, and you run up and hug your ex like that? Her parents saw the look on my face and told me they were sorry. Later on we leave the fair and I'm still clearly bothered, and she has the nerve to grab my arm and say, "So I'm gonna make plans to hang out with John? Is that okay with you?" And I said, "Yeah, whatever, I don't even care," because I was trying to hold back my feelings, and she took it as a good thing. Later that night, I texted her saying how uncomfortable and upset I was, and she flipped the script on me completely. But in the end, I was in the right, and she didn't hang out with him, and this only made my feelings for Lily grow stronger. Later on, me and Lily lose all contact. Her boyfriend thought I was a threat and made her block me. Me and Jane only continued to fight, and I became more and more unlike myself, more angry and hopeless. Then Lily and her boyfriend break up. She texts me and says she's sorry for blocking me and tells me her boyfriend thought I was a threat. Then she finds another boyfriend a month or two later, who to this day is her current boyfriend. December rolls around and my birthday is in about 2 weeks. Me and Jane finally break up, and it's mutual somehow. Now she's dating her boy best friend, who she kept as a backup the entire time. The boy she called handsome and ran to whenever we got into an argument. I wish Jane nothing but the best now, and of course our relationship had a lot of faults, most being me and her habit of calling other boys handsome and everything. Lily is with her new guy, and I still think about her, a whole year later, at a new school, and my heart aches. Looking back, I was a jerk, and I've changed a whole lot since then, and I'm finally back to my old self. But I just feel like a part of me is missing. Maybe one day we could talk again. I don't even want a relationship with Lily. I just want the friendship back because it was so great and something really powerful. But that's the end of this story, and hopefully you guys don't make the same mistake I did. Please leave comments. The time my friends and I encountered a flesh pedestrian. This story includes me, V, my best friend, I'll call her D, and my guy friend, I'll call him R. I was the youngest of the group. At that time, around 13. D was 15, and R was 14. We were at D's house. She lived in the Appalachian Mountains, especially on a spot where indigenous people had passed away. This story starts from the afternoon around 4 p.m. We all had just gotten back from the gym and wanted to hang out and play games. We were all eating pizza when we heard the dogs barking outside. Dee had 2 outdoor dogs that were her grandparents. The dogs never barked, and if they did, they wouldn't be barking at anyone since Dee lived in a very quiet and hidden place. We looked outside and saw nothing. We went out onto the balcony as the sun set. Nothing was out there, but all 3 of us were on edge. Dee, me, and R went to Dee's room. We decided to burn sage and rosemary just to be safe. That's when things got weird. We went on the balcony. It was now around 8 p.m. It was pitch black outside. The only things we could see were what the house lights were hitting. The dogs were barking again. Me and Dee went to check the dogs from above. A dog that looked almost identical to one of Dee's ran out from the woods. The only thing different was her eyes. They were all black and she was running weird, like her legs weren't meant for her skin. The 3 of us ran inside. We shut the door and heard screaming and scratching of wood, like something or someone wanted inside the house. An hour later, we were getting ready to leave, dropping our off home while me and Dee went to my place to stay the night. As we were in the car, we heard whistling and humming. We felt like we were being watched, like the trees had eyes. Once at my home, Dee went in my parents' room. The lamp was floating. When she saw it, it immediately hit the ground hard. Everyone in my house ran in as Dee screamed. I hate to admit that later that night me and Dee snuck out and walked to a gas station to get snacks. While we were walking back, we felt as if someone was following us, like they were in the bushes and water. We ran home but froze. In the woods, we saw a figure. It was tall and lanky, like a human spider. His face wasn't normal. It was long, with an abnormal smile and big pitch black eyes. We ran inside immediately. I had a panic attack and Dee was close to having one too. We had hot chocolate and didn't go to bed till 4 a.m. At least then it was safe. I have a lot of stories, especially around this time and with my friend Dee and my other friend S. All of them horrific. I was kidnapped as a child and I think it was my dad's sister, but I don't have any proof. Hi. So I remembered this during listening to one of the YouTube videos about young kids being abducted. Anyway, a little background story to understand how this happened so easily. My parents divorced when I was a toddler. My mom's neighbor, who is her sister, my aunt, had 3 kids just like my mom. 2 boys, 1 girl. She was a single mother. So my mom remarried when I was 3 or 4, but her husband lived outside the country. So my mom only kept me because I am a girl, and the boys stayed with my father. So it was only us with my cousins. We all go to school together and come home together. Anyways, so it happened when I was about 5 years old. I can't honestly remember clearly. Anyways, so I remember coming out of preschool and going home. I don't remember where my cousins were. I wanted to go home, so I just left, since our house was a few blocks away and it was a very safe and well-known area. We all knew each other and the school was a big preschool with a high school, too. So I was walking home, then someone came talking with me. I remember knowing this was wrong, but I was so excited because he told me, "Your stepfather sent me. He got you so many gifts. Come, let's go." So I was so excited because he knew everything. He even knew which country it was. So of course I trusted him. So we went together. He took me somewhere so far in a building. He took off my shoes and my bag. Then he told me, "Sit here on the stairs. I'm going to get your stuff." So anyway, I sat waiting. Honestly, I don't even know for how long. Maybe an hour, maybe more, maybe less. But I started crying and walked, going down. I was walking and walking, trying to remember the way of going home. It was hard, but I walked anyway, until I started recognizing the way. I reached home, and my mom was outside with everyone looking for me. My grandparents, my mom's siblings, just everyone. My uncle was so furious when he saw me that he took a stick and started hitting me on my legs. I cried and my mum took me away. By the way, these things are sadly allowed in our country. So I only remember crying and my mum hugging me. Then, after all this, a few months or something later, I saw my school bag at my aunt's house. She's my dad's sister. I was so surprised because that bag was new and my stepfather bought it for me. It was a white bag with black big polka dots. I honestly don't know how it got there because when I came home I only had one sock. I don't remember anything else. So it's weird. Now that I think of it, honestly, it makes my stomach turn. Like, how did that person know my mum remarried? How did he know where he stayed? How did that bag end up there? My mum and her sister-in-law never had a good relationship, but I was her niece. I never told anyone about all this, especially about the bag. I don't know why. I just ignored it until recently I started remembering everything. I'm now married and I have 2 kids, a boy and a girl. My son just started preschool, and honestly the fact that I started remembering all this is really scaring me. And BTW, my son goes to the same school with the whole family plus my auntie's grandchildren. But he's not allowed to leave unless it's with my driver or my cousins or my mother. Nobody else. I'm not saying she did it, but where did that bag come from? It looked new. Plus it was just thrown outside on a dirty shelf. I don't know if I'm crazy or there is more to the story. Between reality and nightmare. Since I am not fluent in English, I had my text translated by an AI. However, the experience is genuine and actually happened. Since I am not fluent in English, I had my text translated by an AI. However, the experience is genuine and actually happened. Asterisk. About 14 years ago, we moved from a spacious apartment in a big city to a house in a rather rural area. It was a big adjustment for all of us, but I probably struggled the most, since my disability makes it difficult for me to adapt to new environments. At some point, I made the mistake of watching Shaun of the Dead around midnight. I still don't really know why this movie, which is more comedic than scary, frightened me so much, but it definitely did. Around the same time, I had also started reading about spiritual topics, not things like tarot or self-improvement, but rather aliens and evil spirits. A quick Google search should give you an idea of what I mean. In hindsight, both things probably contributed to the most horrifying experience I've ever had. It happened on an early summer morning when I woke up feeling very tired. The sun was already shining into my room, and I remember thinking, no, I don't want to stay awake right now, I want to go back to sleep. Normally, once I'm awake and the room is bright, I can't fall asleep again. But somehow, I managed to fall back asleep while lying on my side in a rather uncomfortable position. It was one of those half-awake, half-asleep states where my dreams usually become chaotic and strange. But suddenly, I became fully awake and could think clearly. At that moment, I felt something touching me from behind. It felt extremely unpleasant and disturbing. I tried to get away from it, only to realize that I couldn't move at all. I was completely paralyzed. I panicked because I didn't know how to escape the situation. Then I remembered some of the spiritual topics I had been reading about, like the idea that you can call upon angels for protection against evil spirits. In my panic, I called out for Camuel, as I first remembered the name. Nothing happened. Then suddenly the name Archangel Gabriel came into my mind, almost as if something was trying to communicate it to me. So I called for Gabriel instead. Suddenly, I found myself being pulled upward, as if I were flying. I saw myself in my sleepwear, with wings, rising into a golden light. Below me, I heard a skeletal, dragon-like creature with claws screaming. And then I woke up. I could move again, but I was too scared to fall back asleep. So I asked Gabriel to help me fall asleep again. Shortly after, I felt a warm sensation and gradually calmed down. Later, I read about sleep paralysis and realized that my experience fits the description quite well. Before that, I had never even heard of sleep paralysis. I also recently read a report from someone who tried lucid dreaming and then experienced sleep paralysis afterward. Since I often have lucid dreams myself, sleep paralysis doesn't seem that unlikely in my case.